going to hit record. Everyone's okay with me recording this, yeah?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Go for it.
Excellent. So you will be privy to my camera being operational. Should you desperately want to see my rather grey and wizened beard.
Oh, no.
Hey Dorfl, are you in the Roll20?
No. No, I'm not.
So did I hear you were moving house at Isaac? Is that right?
Yes.
Ah. How's it going?
I literally just settled in, moved, put all my toiletries in the toilet, unpacked all my food to the freezer, hotspotting on my phone, and set up my laptop. Here I am. I just moved in.
Oh man, you are the best. Yeah, sorry, I'd forgotten that you were moving. Thanks for coming though, because I would have called it if I didn't have 3. So
Yeah,
I'm grateful.
So as well.
Oh no, I never miss D&D if I can help it.
Okay, so without further ado, it's nearly 8:30, so let's get into it. Obviously, you don't have the full team with you, so you remember that you've just spent some time, had some downtime basically in your town of Saltport, and you've been going about your daily business. Some of you might remember that the Oribus of Night have taken slight interest in your presence, but haven't found you to be a threat as of yet. Having worked hard during the tenday to make repairs to your ship, as well as reflecting on the potential that your town Saltport has to offer, you drift off into a restless sleep. Maybe it's the unease of the past events in the Temple of Shar, or even just Dorfls Seaweed surprise. But either way, you're restless in your swags. Those of you who slept on the deck as part of the watch experience the sensation of light mist as it condenses on your faces from the undulating microclimate above. The Baron and Finn discuss tactics in the humble yet dry captain quarters as the remainder of your party lets sleep wash over them like a black wave. Suddenly, each of you feels the cold, a wet sensation of water all around you. What's happened? Were you sleep so long that you failed to wake up from an attack? Is the ship sinking? The inky black water reflects a starless sky as a familiar hull to a familiar ship appears as if from nowhere. 3 rope ladders drop down into the writhing sea beside your heads. There seems to be 2 options. Ascend the ladder or remain in the bone-chilling depths. What do you do?
Oh crap.
Who is attuned to the ship's magical amplification protocols? I've been watching a lot of Star Trek, God.
That was
Still
Dorfl.
me at the moment.
Oh, what spells have you got, dear Dwarf?
Shatter. Just like my go-to for everything.
It's the new fireball.
Let's see. Nothing that looks like it's gonna help.
And in the interim, before we set out on this, could I have melted down 300 gold worth of coins from our hoard and sort of gilded a skull with it?
Yeah, 100%. You would have had like a 10-day to do that, and basically to accomplish shipwrights. Dorfl is pretty handy with most things, and Klaus has been ever amenable and wanting to help.
Absolutely. So,
well, gentlemen, I have
absolutely
your fireballs.
Oh, no.
I'll get you all to roll me perception quickly as you're writhing around in a peculiarly dark sea.
this out. Ooh, that's pretty good.
Nice.
Cover for me.
Whilst Rain seems to be more concerned about keeping his head above water. Is it his or her head?
It's a he. Rain is a guy.
That's what I thought. Yeah. I was just confused by the avatar on the screen. That's all.
Reload. I think I was changing it.
Klaus is the
I had,
first.
I had my Thursday game, so I play a female character on the Thursday game.
Klaus is the first to discover that the ship, perhaps in your worst nightmares, would be that belonging to the Black Scar. But on a quick appraisal, you realise that it's actually the Kakusarata, which just makes things much more confusing for you because the last you recall, you were fast asleep, quite comfortable, or just bedding down, as it were, on the deck of the Kakusarata. So you're kind of not sure how you could be in the water next to it. Dorfl, your sensation of attunement to the ship is currently notwithstanding. And yes, you're all kind of swimming for dear life. Obviously, Dorfl, you're doing pretty well. You've got a maritime background, but anyone that isn't accustomed to swimming is starting to find it a bit difficult.
Nice. I'm going to suggest, well, Klaus will suggest that he'll use his rather stealthy approach to maybe just pop up and climb up onto the deck and just try and see if everything's all clear. Try and gain a beat of what's going on. Be the scout to kind of step ahead and try and make sure that everything's okay before we all climb up.
Okay, so with your spider-like agility, the option to use the ladder is merely an option.
That's right. I could just clamber up the side.
You could just
I might
David
do
Bowie
that
up the side.
When you've got the option to David Bowie, you can never say no.
You don't say no-y to the Bowie.
Exactly.
So yeah, with some considerable gusto, you're able to just make me a stealth roll, please.
Absolutely. Should be good. Ooh, yeah, that's going to be good.
Oh, like a ghost, like a shade, a spirit. You just kind of hover and stealthily sort of walk up to the top of the deck towards the top of the hull. And are you having a look around?
Absolutely. I just want to kind of scope it out, see if there's anything untoward going up there.
As the Kakusareta to you seems like it's newer, and like the wood, it seems more rejuvenated. The splits and the splinters are more tightly bound. It seems to be like a healthier ship, and you're just about to turn around and tell your comrades that it's safe to board when you just see at the helm, with his back to you, the sort of outline of a pirate-looking gentleman. He's wearing a black leather cloak, seems to have maybe a cutlass to one side, and big floppy black leather boots, a wide-brimmed sort of tricorn. But the most prominent and noticeable thing is the white hair that sort of seems to be cascading down his back in a maritime sort of fashion.
Disheveled mess. Very salty hair. Okay, Klaus will just kind of look down. Doesn't know if either of you will understand it, but he uses Thieves' Cant to make some hand gestures down towards the two of them in the water.
Do either of you speak Thieves' Cant?
Dorfl makes some random hand gestures back to him, just like trying to guess what's going on.
Like a shrug.
Yeah. Is
And once he's done so,
okay.
I'm gonna kind of David Bowie crawl. It's now trademarked.
I can lip read
Oh,
if you wanted to actually like mouth it at me.
He sticks with thieves' cant. He seems to think that you've probably gathered the gist that he's keeping super quiet, and starts keeping under the lip of the boat. But he's going to kind of crawl to get to basically to the rear of the figure. So kind of circling around the boat, but to get to the back. I'm guessing if we're looking on the actual map of the Kakasureta, he's trying to get around to sort of like the back point here, kind of behind the wheel and behind the figure.
okay. So he's sort of shimmying along around the back.
Yeah.
Okay. The character sort of appears to be kind of motionless, almost. Occasionally, just see his elbows moving as he sort of like manipulates the ball. Excuse me. He manipulates like the ball of energy that is the helm, and just as you're about to sort of take a step closer, he says, "Ah, well, these two I don't know, but the one in the water, I met him before. I'm glad you could make it. I didn't know whether you'd come or not." And he sort of chuckles.
Oh boy. Knowing that the gig is up, Klaus will just kind of look down towards the other two in the water and kind of make a motion towards climbing the ladder, and he's just going to step up onto the very edge of the boat, and did not know that you would be quite so perceptive. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
He says, "Likewise, my shadow crawling friend. I've had occasion to put my eye towards you." And he sort of turns around to face you now, and he's a jovial looking, like salty looking pirate. Slightly hunched, slightly old, but you get this sort of impression that he might be really lithe, or it could almost be a bit of a ruse. There's a glint in his one good eye as he offers you a semi-toothless smile. He says, "Welcome aboard the Kakasureta again," and sort of chuckles. He says, "Will your friends be joining us, or are they enjoying the water so?"
I believe they're going to be joining us in just a moment. He's just going to kind of look over the side of the boat, just waiting for their presence before he makes any further moves or, continues on.
Dorfl keeps trying to make hand gestures to replicate the thieves' cant.
Yes, you can slowly learn that over a matter of days, months.
Oh, it's not even close.
He sort of carries on speaking to Klaus. As what would you guys like to do? The rest of you.
Would I know the Kakasureta? Probably not.
Well, yes, you're aware of the Kakasureta because it's the ship that you're currently on. It's like the one you've just discovered, and have been repairing for the week.
I see. So this is another copy of it, or
I think you could safely say it's another instance of it at this point. It just looks newer, perhaps from a different era. It's hard to tell. Like the whole experience has been a little bit confusing, and the more you sort of try to think about it and reason with what's happening, the more cloudy the whole sort of experience becomes. Like as it were in a dream, where you try to sort of rationalize and you don't know why you're rationalizing and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
Dorfl will start climbing that ladder.
as Dorfl begins to sort of like maneuver his way over the top of the ship, over the sort of the side of the ship. You look to the left, you look to the right, and as you look to the left again, suddenly the pirate figure is standing right beside you and offers a hand and says, "Let me help you up, Warforged. It's very good to see you. I owe you a debt of gratitude, to some extent."
Well, take his offered hand and let him help me up.
He is surprisingly strong and nimble for an old-looking man.
Is this the same old man we met on the beach?
Roll me, what would it be? Intelligence.
That come through?
Not just yet.
I clicked the wrong number.
Oops.
Whilst it takes you a while to place his face, slowly, yeah, and it does take a while, and you sort of look at him a bit like dumbfounded, like, but it wasn't a 1, so eventually, let's just say, I don't know, 6 minutes? No, a fair few minutes, like 30 seconds pass, and you're like, I know you, and you're even like that bit in like Thor Ragnarok where it's like, I feel like I know you, and he's like, I feel like I know you too. There's that sort of exchange of recognition, and then finally it does dawn on you that this is the character that you met on the beach just before the tsunami, who had that special request of you. To both Klaus and Rain, he seems to be this strange, wizened old man, old pirate in the middle of a black sky and a black sea.
Yeah. Klaus is starting to get a bit on edge, not too sure about the situation at hand. He's definitely a bit hesitant, but he's just kind of going with the interaction at the moment.
Can I do an arcana check of some kind to see if I think, in my head it's like, is this some kind of temporal phase, or is this an illusion or dream spell? There's many possibilities of what this could be. Wizard.
You can roll me arcana or religion.
Okay. Ooh, okay. 22.
Wow, that's phenomenal. So dip into your knowledge of the arcana and your studies, whilst the character eludes you. You've heard or read, should I say? You've read scripts and sort of tomes about other worlds and other dimensions that are accessible to a plethora of deities and beings, and this is almost like how you would expect the Shadowfell to be, but there's something. It's like it's a basic pocket dimension. You get the impression that if you were to make a nautically themed pocket dimension, this is pretty much the first thing that would spring to mind. There's no land, there's no stars, there's just a ship in the ocean, almost as if it was a construct, an astral or magical construct of some kind.
I will move to join the other two. I assume that's what we're doing. Onto the ship. And then I want to look at this mysterious figure and go, is this realm you're doing then? Or are you just a passenger yourself?
He contemplates an answer, and sort of a smile slowly creeps on his face, and he says, "This is the closest I have to a home. Although I have many, this is the one I prefer to meet my friends. And he sort of looks at you all and he says, we are friends. I know Dorfl is my friend, but we are all friends here, yes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We go way back.
How do you know him, Dorfl?
He was chilling on the beach one time. We washed up and he seemed alright. You sure, there was a bit of a fight going on between a couple of triceratops and...
A large snake, he interjects.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it a basilisk or just a very large snake?
It was a large multi-headed snake, as I recall. You handled that extremely well. You and all of your good friends, Lucho and Finn, Duval, everyone. They definitely got my attention, and I am so grateful that they were able to save me. And then I had a small mission for you. Now, I don't usually like to dabble in the affairs of more... And he sort of stops himself. He says... and he contemplates, he thinks, I don't usually dabble in the affairs of other people, but in this instance, I thought you might be the most appropriate to help me out of a bit of a bind. He says, and you did. You all did. It was sad that you lost your companion to Shar, and he roams her domain, but you did what I wanted, and you rescued and have repaired my prized Kakusareta. How are you finding her, by the way?
Very amenable to our company.
He
Quite
chuckles.
friendly. We're still yet to actually go seafaring, though, to see how that goes.
He nods. He says, she won't let you down if you look after her, and Silver, the spirit that lives within, then they together will look after you, without a doubt. They'll make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. Now, I should very much get down to business. I was so impressed with the way that you handled Shar. Indeed, I didn't know whether you could do it, and I think many in your situation would have perished. And you have my attention. I hope that my gifts that I gave you with regards to the lockpick have served its purpose for you so far. But it is with perhaps some difficulty that I have another request to ask of you. Would you refuse me? And he sort of leans in and waits to see what your answer is.
I mean, I'm not going to say no before you ask the question. We're friends, after all.
He sort of looks to both Klaus and to Rain to kind of check their stance. Like, are you looking angry or intimidated? How are you sort of standing? Are you standing defiant or curious or...
It has only just occurred to me that Dorfl is actually the only one that's met this one.
Yeah,
Not
that's
that,
right.
The other two went around.
Rain is very curious, but is inclined to be agreeable if this ship used to belong to this fellow and he has knowledge of outer planes. He can be a powerful ally and even perhaps teacher. And Rain thinks, well, there could be something to be gained here. I help, quid pro quo and all that.
He smiles and nods and gives a little kind of almost like a skip, and then removes his hat and brushes his hand through like his bald patch and then down to his silvery mane. And for one moment he just was there, and the next minute he just walks from around the side of Klaus and he says, sort of enjoying it a bit like the dungeon master from those cartoons, and he says, Dorfl has proved himself once to me, and whilst I know your affiliations with one another is still in its infancy, I would say that Dorfl has my favour. Now, his companion, his friend, and to some extent, my friend Duval was, let's just say there was an exchange between Shar and myself, one that I hadn't quite seen, but yet one I still feel somewhat accountable for. Now, Shar can't prove that I showed you the whereabouts of the Kakusureta, as Shar cannot truly stop you from being able to find your friend. I may know the whereabouts where he is. He survives, but really surviving where he is worse than death. I could equip you with some. And he thinks I could equip you with the knowledge in order to be able to find him and retrieve him. So the party was won. I feel somewhat accountable for his loss. And if I can deny the Lady Shar another loss, then that's more strength to me.
Well, I'd be all for trying to recover our ally, especially if he's in such a terrible situation.
He nods. He says,
"In agreement, and definitely make not a presumption, but we'll just quickly cite that the light comes for all when they're in the most dire of need."
The pirate chuckles and he says, "Lights in the darkness. Whatever next?" And sort of grins at the irony of the situation. And as for you, sir, and he sort of looks you up and down, he smiles and nods. He says, "I think your research into where you have to head would benefit you greatly, sir."
Oh, was that to Rain or to
That's to
Klaus?
Rain, sorry, yeah.
It would benefit my research to undertake this mission. So.
And he nods and he says, I tell you what, if you want to come along, then I'll certainly make it worth your while. I mean, there's no... I won't just expect you to potentially endanger yourselves in Shar's domain without some compensation. Well,
That's good enough for me. I get to explore the plains, and you seem to be well possessed of knowledge and power. I would be happy to assist you.
He claps his hands together and beams a semi-toothless grin, cocks his head back and sort of says, "Wonderful! That is wonderful." As he rubs his hands together, as he sort of separates them, from the ether appears this sort of bronze-looking dish, for want of a better word. It has a glass top and it's very ornate. The trim around the brass that holds the glass in is knuckle bones, like finger and knuckle bones all the way around, and like the underneath of the dish, as it were, for want of a better word, is like a bone kind of hand, a small brass bone hand that seems to be holding the dish. Let's see, you can all see it. Everyone just roll me a perception.
Oh no.
That all comes through again.
Natural one.
I can't do less than that, so... I can come pretty close there. Apparently I can do worse than that.
Whilst
I don't know how Klaus has gone blind, yet he can see more than Dorfl.
Rain is able to get the better look out of the two of you as it sort of materializes. He has the best angle, he sort of cranes his neck and has a bit of a look. And Rain, what you see is it's floating in the center of this, like, almost like light absorbing pool, is this sort of desiccated, mummified finger that kind of just sort of like floats in the pool. And given your background and your intelligence, you're able to eventually deduce that this must be some kind of compass. Masked smiles as he sort of reads your eyes and sort of contemplates. He says, this device, in my younger days, served me well. It's had many names, but call it what you wish. All I say is, I've asked it to point out the direction of your friend. And the Kakusareta is at your disposal. And he holds it out. Who wants to take it?
Klaus is going to step back.
Well, if it's a magical object, I would be happy to look after it. Or if you think Dorfl would be better suited, by all means.
I was actually just about to ask if I could still sense the ship in this pocket dimension, or is it severed while we're here?
You don't have an attunement to it, but in as much as your perception, your actually insane perception, yeah, you can sense the ship because you're standing on it. But like I said to Isaac, it's a different instance of the ship. It's a parallel, or maybe from a time past or a time way in the future. It would be hard to tell. So it resembles the Kakusareta, but it isn't the Kakusareta that you remember binding yourself to.
I mean, if Rain doesn't mind, I'll do it just because I want to see what happens if it's a different time instance and either we go back and the ship has a much longer knowledge of me, or, you know, if this is parallel or in the future. See what happens. Oh, unless Rain wants to bond it, I'm not gonna rule it out.
If you want it, go for it.
Yeah, sure. Dorfl sticks out his hand and touches it.
Okay. As you sort of go to touch the Kakusareta, you get this sort of sensation of how can I explain it? Like, just an unprecedented, unrivaled, like, floodgate of rage and confusion, and I wouldn't necessarily, to some extent, some kind of malice, like a deviousness, or just all these emotions just flood through you, almost like a barrage. As you touch the orb, it's a polar opposite sensation from when you touched it the first time to bond. A light bending sort of explosion pulses from the globe, and basically sort of renders you, knocks you back onto your feet, and you lie there on the deck and lose consciousness, and you hear that voice that you're familiar with, having attuned to the ship before, and you just hear this really rough, growly version of the silver, and you just hear, "The destination is set," and then all of you basically slip into unconsciousness, not being able to regain your consciousness, and each one of you make me a wisdom save, please.
Oh, it's not the best of saves, but hey.
Oh,
Ooh, not fantastic. At least
Yep,
one of us
I shouldn't have
survived.
touched that. Yeah.
Okay, both Dorfl and Klaus, sort of the whole experience, being shaken from what you consider to be a dream, the confrontation of this character, and then the overall pulse of energy is too much for your mental aptitude, and you both receive 5 points of psychic damage.
Boy.
As each and every one of you, by the way, what is strange is that you are all feel like you're fully rested. Even though the last thing you remember was that you were sort of sleeping and feeling uncomfortable, in this particular instance or this particular time and space, you are fully healed and fully rested as though you have had a long rest. Your hit points are at full, apart from those who have just taken some psychic damage. When you awake, you seem to be on the shores of a dark land. What's mysterious is the silhouette of the Cacacereta is lit up on the sea behind you. You're on the shore. Black inky waters roll up grey sands, and before you is like a semi marshland, grassland crossed with a forest. There's a few dotted trees here, there, and everywhere, and mist, a strange black mist, just sort of materializes almost into humanoid forms and then disperses and sort of drops back down to the ground again. It's a very eerie place. You kind of almost feel grateful that you're able to survive, and curious that you are still within the watch of the Cacacereta. Just briefly, think. I'll get you to all roll me a perception quickly.
Alright, see if this goes better.
Oh,
Hey, finally.
oh.
A bit better. A little bit better.
Oh, my dice is so slow.
Both Dorfl and Klaus, despite the wind and the rain of this area, it's a sudden wind and rain that is quite almost stark in a stark contrast in comparison to on the ship earlier on. You swear you hear the voice of someone much younger and much more sort of there's a majesty to it as well. There's like a mischievous majesty to it, and a younger voice chuckles and says, "Best of luck, my friends. It's truly a shame I can't join you. I don't need to warn you about the Shadowfell." And again, there's a lightning burst from behind on the horizon that lights up the Cacacereta into a silhouette. Instead of the sky being like white, it's a sickly green, and you all slowly start to get a sinking sensation. It's like there's a gentle build of anxiety that only the Shadowfell can bring. Instantly, Dorfl and Rain recognize this place for what it truly is. So you will have some advanced knowledge in how to survive here, but unless Klaus has spent time in the Shadowfell, it's an alien land to him. And I just got a handout for you. So the coastline is met by sort of a thicket of trees here and there, and that's kind of gives you an idea of the vibe. Can you see that?
Ah, yeah, there it is. Oh, that's creepy.
And for those of you who want to play along,
immediately cast
what's that?
I immediately cast light on something just so I have a light source to fight back the blue.
Okay, very good, very good.
Can we see that creepy looking thing in the trees, or is that just...
That's probably more of a manifestation than what sort of the spirit. You think you see stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like you go to look where you think you saw it and it's no longer there, but there would be like a
on the
mist.
edge of your vision?
Yeah, it like just sort of vanishes and disappears. The whole place really puts you on edge. And I had a little bit of prep time, so what I can do for you guys is share the links to the audio I've just played, or I am playing, if you wanted to play along at home and have some selective audio playing. This is you can mix it how you wish, but the two go together really well. And I'm now a bit scared, and I'm the fucking DM.
The advert to go past. Oh wow, that mob's on it. YouTube.
Where am I looking for that?
It's another handout.
Yeah, right. I was at the Ooh, there's two links there. Top or bottom? Shadowfell ambience. So we going for the rainforest or Shadowfell ambience?
It's both. If you play them together and get the mix right, it's really, really scary. It's really cool.
Wait.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I do love some ambient music.
You know.
So I'll just grab you guys 1 sec and transfer you over to the map.
Oh, that's nice. I love that image of Shadowfell as well. That captures it just nice.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, isn't it?
I'm stealing it.
100%. I've already stolen it. I just saved it to my
Yeah.
device.
It's really scary, isn't it? It's like a good little mix of the two, with the rain as well and the thunder. Like with the shadow spell, I read a couple of Forgotten Realm books, especially the Erevis Kale trilogy, and he ends up there at some point, and it's all just like this, but worse. It's so much worse. Like if you spend a long time in the Shadowfell, all the color drains from all of your clothes and your skin, and everything just becomes shades of grey. You begin to lose hope. It's a bit like the like Ravenloft, and I suppose where's the Curse of Strahd, wherever that place is, Barovia. It's a bit like Barovia. Barovia is on the outskirts of the Shadowfell, so it's all got those kind of qualities. It's all very not a place you want to be.
No.
Can I summon my familiar?
Yes, you can.
Especially
I will,
considering it only gets worse if you hit the neck.
So you currently let me just reveal a bit. This is about well, to be fair, you've all got dark vision, have you, or?
Indeed.
Uh,
I have.
No, but
I've got goggles of night.
Okay, and
Oh,
Rain,
yeah.
did you say you were casting light?
yes, so that's 20 foot bright and 20 foot dim light. I believe.
Just before Rain casts, Klaus puts a hand on Rain's shoulder and kind of says, "It's okay, I will take care of this for you." And he's going to use an ability that he's got, which is called... Right. So basically, he's going to share his 300-foot dark vision with Rain, It can do it to 3 people, so he'll touch Dorfl on the shoulder as well.
I had no idea you were Twilight Cleric. Very nice. The best kind of cleric.
Hey, you're the reason why I chose it.
Oh, why is that?
You gave it really, really good review.
Oh yeah.
It got a good Yelp
my
review.
God. Literally just yesterday with the Thursday game, we were like in a really bad spot, but with the fly spell on 2 of our guys, the warlock and my cleric were flying, we could swoop in, rescue people. So I just basically like flew in with my my Twilight Cleric wings, picked up someone from the ground, and then like mass healing word and just brought them all back from the brink of death. It was great. It was very mercy Overwatch.
That's nice.
But yeah, having flight as a cleric is incredible.
Oh, so we've got that dark vision lasts for an hour. So yeah.
Okay,
Use
so
it while we got it.
it would usually sort of protrude, even with the light cantrip, it would usually sort of protrude maybe 60 foot, is it? Is that right, with the dark vision? Or is it like 300 foot or something insane?
Yeah, the Twilight Cleric is 300 foot of dark vision for all of us. For 1
Wow.
hour.
Yeah, it's crazy. No light required.
It's insane.
Just excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, I'll just start revealing some of this map. But usually, you feel that having that ability has helped you quite a bit. So, visibility-wise, let me just reveal some of the area for you.
I mean, if there's like thick fog or whatever, we could still have obscure vision. But yeah, darkness will be a problem.
It only works on darkness. It doesn't work on that foggy stuff. Or rain.
It's, that you can see. As well as that, basically. So
This place is macabre.
you see a sort of before you, as you sort of make your way off of the sand into the more sort of densely sort of vegetated area. You travel for, I would say, 10 minutes, making your way up what seems to be the only real sort of path from the beach where you landed. The whole area is dark, and just every time you go to think you see something, you go and look, but it only sort of spurs that you think you see something else out of the other corner of your eye. It's starting to make you very on edge. The rain that falls from the sky is this sort of grey kind of stone, sort of almost blackish, kind of brackish water, and the smell is putrid. It's like old drains as it sort of falls and sort of lands around you. Instead of the sweet smell of petrichor, it's like it's almost like putrefaction. There's a very sort of rotten stench to the air. You stand here, but before you see in the distance a fallen statue. It's hard to make out whether at this distance whether it's male or female, or even what the statue represents. But yeah, you're faced with a path in the forest. Get everyone just to roll me perception at this stage.
I think Klaus is just going to draw his rapier now.
Alright, Dorfl's finally paying attention apparently.
I'm not.
I will pop my familiar out of its public dimension and pop out Montgomery and Montgomery, my monocled owl.
Like with the effects of Avernus, probably the first thing that takes you aback, Rain, as you cast your familiar. You're familiar with this summoning, as it were, but as you cast it, it's a more drawn out, almost like stretched version, unnaturally lank version of an owl, and whereas if it was a barn owl, or indeed any shape of owl, the feathers are like raven feathers. They're oily looking and slick and black, and the owl, I imagine, lands however you'd usually summon it onto your hand, onto your arm, and it just looks forward for a while, and you think, like, is this thing broken? And you think, you almost want to shake it off, like you almost think this is not right, and as you stand there, everyone sort of is aware that the owl's head just slowly begins to turn 200 and what is it? I think owls can do 270 degrees, and it just slowly turns its head round, and these big, like phosphorescent looking sort of glowing red eyes just sort of stare back at you, and whilst it seems quite comfortable on your arm, it adjusts itself from left to right and sort of looks at you and then looks back and starts equally looking at things that it thinks it's seen. It's not reassuring. What would you like to do? Oh, as sorry, from your perception as well, Dorfl, through the rain and the thunder and the distant moans and groans that seem to sort of wallow from left, right, and centre, you hear this kind of like laughing. At times it sounds like a sweet, almost like a sweet child, and sometimes it sounds like as if a beautiful woman was kind of like in play with her lover or something like that, you know, like very happy. And then at times, just for the last sort of 3 or 4 seconds of the laughter, it turns into this sort of cackle, and it then suddenly falls silent again, and that seemed to sort of come from this direction up here.
Klaus is now gripping his rapier, rather white knuckled, or more white than usual knuckled.
What do you...
Dorfl's gonna pull out the Devil's Scope and pay that blood toll to compound on the dark vision, I think.
Okay, well, the current fog of war is sort of representative of what you can see from where you're standing. So you pretty much, because you've got such an awesome dark vision anyway, thanks to Klaus, you can see what you can see unless you start to move.
I was going for because I've already got dark vision, it gives me Devil's Sight out to 120 feet.
Oh, that's right. That sees magical. Is that right? If you've got dark vision, then it will give you Devil's Sight, and Devil's Sight sees through.
Yeah, I can see through magical darkness as well.
Yeah, magical darkness. That's right. Yeah. So with magical darkness, the whole area is like magical darkness. This is the Shadowfell. It's renowned for its for being a dark and shadowy place. So it doesn't reveal too much more than what you can already see. But whether you have devils would see pretty much what you're seeing right now, as it were, with their devil's sight. It's a place even devils of Avernus would not dare to tread.
That's heartening. Okay.
I was gonna say, well, that's concerning.
No, right. I think Klaus
The
is
realm
very
of-
quietly.
Go ahead.
Klaus is just going to say very quietly, I'll move ahead. If something tries to kill me, maybe come and help. He's
We
just
could
going to
send
move
monsters.
stealthily, maybe. Yeah,
There's almost like a, let's see, I can't remember. Rain, I think it was you who is custodian of something, and it's sort of, you feel like a rattling or a jiggling in your pocket, not to sound funny, and yeah, it's sort of, there's just like a kind of, it's making a scratching and a tapping sound, and yeah, it's coming from like your satchel or your pocket.
Coming from where?
Either your satchel or your pocket, sort of on your person.
I pat at my pockets and my exquisite robe and sort of just try and find the source of it. Whilst giving the instruction to Monty to go fly ahead but stay 100 feet and tell me telepathically if you see any danger.
As you pat yourself down, you become aware of you be able to locate the source of the movement, and you're able to protrude or bring out the compass that the pirate gave you, and it's at first glance when you look at it, it seems to be spinning wildly. And then slowly, almost like it has a mind of its own, it begins to kind of calm down, realizing that it's got some attention, and kind of eventually sort of floats and becomes stable in this new dimension, getting almost attuning to the dimension, and begins to slowly, the tip of the desiccated finger begins to sort of point in like a kind of this direction. I'm just doing a quadrant. It sort of points in a cone this direction. And it seems to mellow out, and it just constantly seems to be affixed.
I will mention this to the party. What is this compass attuned to again? Exactly. Are we trying to rescue someone from here, or?
Are you asking me, or are you asking the party?
I think the party.
We're looking for one of our friends who got banished accidentally. There was an incident.
Rain, you would remember Duval joined you. He was one of your rescuers that saved you from the tower.
Yes.
Who suddenly just was no more. He disappeared. So the name of Duval, whilst short-lived, your experience with him was short-lived. It's one you recognise, and I would say that Dorfl, you feel somewhat probably the most urgency to retrieve your friend. He's certainly not steered you wrong, and is pretty handy with a blade.
So I definitely want to try and get him back alongside. But before we start moving, hey Klaus, what kind of shoes are you wearing?
Boots, the leather.
Oh yeah. Can I see those for a second?
He looks a bit green. He just kind of lifts up a heel and kind of keeps it at knee level.
Oh. Like, give him a poke and use one of my infusions.
Ooh.
So they're now boots of elven kind.
Oh, sick!
Holy crap!
That's a great add-on. So what does that do? Add to your stealth?
Fusion.
You make no sound regardless of the surface you're moving on. You have advantage on dexterity stealth checks that rely on moving silently.
Wow.
So that'll last until I either dispel it or 4 days after I die.
Wow. Do you explain this to Klaus, or is it just like he should know?
No, I just leave it. Like,
Just looks very perplexed. Like
like,
picking
why
up
are you
on
looking at
what,
my shoes?
Not quite sure what's going on there, but he's going to start doing what he does and lurking in the darkness. Maybe first moving up to this tree here. So he's moving stealthily, but he's also making it pretty slow as well.
Definitely roll me a perception, stealth. I'll get everyone to roll me
shed.
stealth.
Let's try this bad boy out.
Oh, I've got disadvantage on stealth. That's
Oh.
why I wasn't going up front.
You've got to be kidding me. How about
Wow.
a double?
Oh my
80?
god.
Double crit.
Whoa.
How on earth?
That was a 8.
What are the
Oh, it's
chances?
auto rolling with that's pretty cool. Can class help me with my
Can I lend you a shoe?
Lend me your shoe. So, yeah, as you, Klaus, you get a little bit closer. You still hear this. It's like a trilogy of laughter, as it were. Like occasionally it's a young laugh. Like I say, sometimes it's a sort of the sound of a beautiful woman's laughing, and just rarely every now and again you just hear this sort of kind of thing. But it's hard to make out through the rain, and it's like if you've ever been into a soundproof room, and you know how there's just like no sound. There's nothing makes a
Eerie
sound.
silence.
Yeah, it's like that. Although you feel that the rain should be making a noise, but it kind of doesn't. It's a very unnerving place. But yeah, as you move forwards, more of the statue sort of reveals itself, and whilst broken into pieces, now you start to able to sort of make out that it has a plinth of which it sort of stood, and that's where you move to, is it?
Yeah, I'll go up to there with that last little bit of movement.
Okay. On the these foils, as it were, down here, like it's a decorative foil that sort of like protrudes forwards. You think you see like the emblem of like a silken mask.
It's gonna stalk forward. So it's a symbol. It's not like a fallen piece of something.
No, it's like etched into the stonework.
Okay. He'll edge forward a little bit and crouch at that point, still remaining as stealthy as possible.
Okay, as you maneuver around to that point, you see. Hang on, I've got 2 windows open. It's quite.
I know the thing.
You, I'm just going to get reveal. You see a little bit more of the area. When I'm this far away, can you hear what I'm saying all right?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
still. It's not quite as loud, but can still hear it.
Okay. From there, you can see more of this sort of forest area. The other side of a path is it's very hard to make out. What was your last perception? In fact, roll me another
It's
perception.
terrible. It can only get better. Oh. Maybe it can't.
Oh man, with a 7, your eyes can't attune to this. I can't even say that because you're a fucking Twilight cleric. Yeah, you can't quite make out what it is visually, and it's making no sound, which isn't helping. You are standing on top of, however, the remains of a crumbled statue. Now, whereas usually when you've entered cities and townships and what have you, they usually have brave-looking statues of like heroic people in heroic gestures. Piecing together the statue in your mind, it sort of would put together almost like someone in a sneaky, stealthful pose. They're kind of crouched over. They have the head is heavily hooded, and a small curved, very cruel-looking dagger seems to be like in a reverse hold, off to one side. Were you to be able to piece the things together, and that's all you can really make out. It seems to be some kind of stealthy-looking dude. What would you like to do?
I'm going to wait for the rest of the party to catch up. I don't know if they're going to be able to see me, but just make a very simple hand gesture this time to follow.
I'm gonna make a mental note to get class teach you thieves Gant at some stage.
Very handy. No pun intended.
Especially with I think observant, I can see things out to like 300 feet or something as far as communication goes.
Yeah, that's just nuts. So as you move, this is going to be... So I came up with this idea and all these resources today. So this isn't actually part of the whole Ring of Bones story. This is something I've built for you guys today. So what I wanted to do was just... I love Mask. And so this is a bit more of like a roguey, stealthy type thing, which is good because I like to test you not in your strengths all the time. So each time you move here on, because the Shadowfell is just such a dangerous place, I'll get you to make a stealth roll for me, please. So that will be Dorfl and Rain. Unless, of course, you're just like striding along, big brass band, like, then don't.
Should have kept those boots.
Yeah. Oh, that was such a good one. Why did it not roll with disadvantage this time? It did last time. There it is.
Here we go.
I don't know if those were...
As you...
no. I quickly took off my scale mail for a second to see what the difference in AC was, and...
As you basically move past this area here, which is the... I don't know whether you can see that. This these trees almost act like a gate, as it were, or a threshold. Both Rain and Dorfl are able to start hearing, carried on the wind ever so faintly, this cacophony of laughter. And as Rain sort of shimmies up towards the back and gets closer towards both of you, suddenly, probably more uncomfortable, more unnerving, is the fact that it stops. Nothing's happened, but the faint laughter just stops.
Oh boy. As is going to put his rapier away and very quietly pull his crossbow out.
Okay, Dorfl, what would you like to do? Anything?
I will just telepathically link up with my familiar and have a look through his eyes.
Okay, I'll see if I can quickly drop in an owl for you, as a thing. DM window, not in my player window. This here. Ow. Okay. It's not the sexiest owl, but here's an owl for you, and I'll just grab it, drop it there, spin him around, give you access. Name. What's your familiar's name?
Montgomery M. Montgomery. Very easy to remember.
I should call him Monty.
You can put yeah, Monty or M cubed, either one.
And okay, and roughly how many hit points does an owl have? Do you know?
Ooh, I can look it up.
I think it's like 10 or 15.
Something like that.
But I'll let you change it, but for the interest, we'll just put them on C.
Oh, it's like 1 hit point. It's got 1 hit point.
Oh shit! All right, there we go. You should have control. Can you move in?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so place Monty where you want him to go, and remember you have to make a stealth roll for him.
He can move 60 feet.
And can you see through his eyes, or what happens there?
Yes. I can see through his eyes.
So, from your location, only Rain is able to see what I'm revealing now. Again, wrong window. Basically, you see.
Ouch. He's a very flamboyant bird with an 8 for stealth.
Yeah, they are. They're quite stealthy, actually.
Guffaws through his monocle as he flies by.
He's really quiet, but that like glowing radiant aura really gives it away.
Yeah, he's like, what can I deduce here? Okay, great. So basically, as he comes around the corner, have you rolled him a perception? Did you do that?
Okay. I think he has advantage to hearing perception.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. He's got keen senses.
Yeah.
So he's got a 10 to visual perception.
Wow.
Oh, hearing and sight, he gets advantage. Okay, one more time.
So seeing as your eyes roll back and you send Monty out to peruse to look for the closest pub, he basically just catches a glimpse of something shuffling around here in this corner, and also something of interest. Oh, hang on. Something of interest up here, sort of off, just attached to the tree. You can see, and yes, I did make your hand out with this as well. You're able to read this, if I can find it. This.
Chunk of Duval.
Right, I've got an idea. I'm not sure if it's going to be terrible or fantastic, but
So, attached to a tree is a, well, you can't really deduce what kind of skin it is, but once where it used to have colour, obviously the Shadowfell has consumed any colour from the skin, making it hard to tell. Maybe it's scales, maybe it's paws, but the skin is stretched tight, and it's sort of covered in blood, and seems to almost be like some kind of crude, very macabre, horrific looking kind of sign, upon which you're able to notice written in common is the message. It says, "Sisters, take the Shade Echo to the Mopmawana sleep markets. It is in this old temple."
Just a side note, this is terrifying.
Yeah, good choice on the soundtrack.
I know all the creepy bits are coming in right at the right times, aren't they? It's pretty good. So yeah, there's a message written in blood. Whether you want to write that down in your journals or what have you, but that's basically what you see. A sign that says "Sisters." You notice that there's bad grammar and there's no comma, so that's terrible. But it says, "Sisters, take the Shade Echo to the Mopmawana sleep markets. It is in this old temple." And like I say, rustling in the bushes just over here, you think you can see something, but given the position of this rocks and rubble, you don't know what that would be. Unless you move forwards or whatever you'd like to do. What would you like to do? While you decide that, I'm going to go and grab a beer, so have a moment just to think about what you want to do.
Sounds good.
Well,
Noting.
my idea to negate my stealth disadvantage, since it's to do with my armor, was to cast Levitate on myself, throw a rope to Klaus, let him tow me along like a balloon.
I don't know how stealthy that would be.
I only have to be a couple of inches off the ground, so long as I'm not walking, I'm not making any noise.
That's true.
And I was thinking like, oh cool, like if it kicks off, I can use my movement to go to like 20 feet in the air and start blasting spells. But I
think you could.
With the two of you guys, I'm probably going
choose
to
how
tank it.
high you want to go as well, so you might not even need a rope. I think you can choose what altitude you want to
You
travel
can-
at.
No, you can't travel with it. You can levitate. No, so it's specifically like the levitate spell, so I can actually lift myself off the ground and go up and down. But I have to
You have to be
use
total
external forces to actually move.
Right.
So I can get towed along, or I could like climb up a wall like I was walking, but I couldn't just fly.
Well, what if? So some spots around this tree here, or maybe some of the rocks around here, could probably sneak ahead and ready a crossbow shot with advantage with steady aim. At that point, maybe if you kind of head down in this direction, so out of eyesight, then levitate up so that you can pepper down anything in that direction. Hopefully between the two of us we can keep things busy enough so that Rain can hop on up and start hammering in some fun arcane stuff as well.
I was just a little concerned. It's depending on what this is, I'm probably gonna have to meat shield this one as well.
I can conjure something if you want a meat shield. I can maintain control of a conjured creature with my new spell component, the Gilded Skull.
Oh yeah, nice.
Excellent.
I mean, how much weight can the owl tow?
Probably not a lot.
I'll see. I can cast levitate on you. You'd have the owl pull you around, and you can just blast spells down.
Oh my god.
Oh, gee,
Alright.
right.
It sounds like Simon's not listening. Should we do that?
I'm listening.
Damn it.
So, have you formulated a plan as such?
I think we got a bit of a plan.
Okay, what's the go?
So I'm gonna try stealthily move up and for a better view, and also to set up for kind of an ambush position, just past the sign, up next to this tree. If I could just kind of sneak in and take a knee and just kind of peer on in and peer down the sights of the crossbow from that point. But Waffle's got something brewing. He's got something brewing that he wants to take into effect as well.
Alright, are we gonna make rain a flying turret?
Maybe we engage first, and if it looks like they have a lot of range stuff going on, then we need a plan B.
Good point. Well, if you're gonna sneak up, what's the distance? I know, Rain, how do you want to proceed?
Well, I could, if I conjure something, it takes my concentration, but it sticks around for an hour. So, but I also have the familiar. The familiar can scour ahead, and if you see a clump of enemies, you can then decide to, summon an off tank, and then, you and my creature can take front or clap. And how are you in melee, Klaus?
Not too bad now that I've got a very nice little rapier, the rapier of certain death.
I mean, I have that fire armor, which gives me 17 armor, and I have shield spells, so, in a pinch, I can actually tank up as well. It should be fine.
Nice. Well, I'll try. I can scout in and get ready to ambush, and if you guys want to hang back kind of where Monty is at the moment, I can set it off, draw them out, and we can see how it goes from there.
Alright.
Then I'm happy to get front and center. I'm sitting on a 20 AC as well.
Very nice.
Wow.
Alright, yep. I think I'll first see if I can stealth on up this point in the tree.
Yep, that seems like a good plan, because I'm not going to get anywhere close to him without letting him know where I am. I could go the other way, like, be a decoy.
Never split the party. Well, not a small party anyway.
Yeah, it's fair.
Okay,
Right.
so what have you decided?
Klaus, stealth up.
Guys, first, I'll roll for stealth to see if I can get up to that point. I'll try and take it steady and take my time. See how it goes. Uh-oh. Oh, that could have been better.
Okay.
It's a 15. It's a 15.
As you're sort of making your way there, you do so successfully. Just you're adept to to operating in the shadows and like walking without creating any sound. And you're used to like looking at the ground, and as you're walking along, suddenly a stick that wasn't there one step suddenly was there, and you walk on it, and you kind of just stop as you expect it to make a crack sound, and it doesn't. The sound is muffled, like 100% muffled, and you know that a stick is dry and decayed as that should have made a noise. And then just as in the like over your shoulder and like some distance away, you just hear "You're welcome," and then a sort of a chuckle, and this is
So creeped down there.
this is you recognise this as the voice that you heard from the ship when you were on the shore, the younger sounding voice. But yes, you successfully make it past the bloody sign.
I thought that was going to be when he realized that I'd fucked with his boots.
Certainly the boots helped. Certainly the
Party
boots
popper
helped.
goes off. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I will reveal what you see from where you are in the right screen. From where you are, you will see this through to here. Let's just say it's probably all of that now.
Oh, Jesus.
Momentarily, you just see this wizened sort of horned, hunched over creature. It's at one glance it appears to be kind of wearing rags, like tattered rags that kind of like a fountain kind of roil out onto the ground, and then at the next you sort of glance and then it looks like the rags are sort of moving and it's made of shadow stuff, and this creature is, you think, 100% looking in your direction. It's not moving, just occasionally it takes a breath in and a breath out, looking in your direction, and then will just twitch and cackle nervously and go and then it just sits back normal again and just sort of starts to breathe. Occasionally its head will sort of twist and look uncannily around the place. Its skin is like a grey, dusky sort of colour, and as the very low light sort of reflects into your Twilight Cleric eyes, that reflective negative light look, you know, that you get from animals and such, is like that scene in Gollum where, you know, you see the reflection in his eyes in the darkness. They flash silver every now and again as she looks intently your direction, and occasionally off elsewhere.
Oh boy, Klaus is staying extremely still.
The rest of
Just
you,
gonna
what would you
wait
like
for
to
the
do?
guys to get into their spots.
I feel like Dorfls is watching Klaus intently to see what the directions are, because as soon as I step, it's not good.
Well, Rain can see some of this through Monty's eyes, and then he will try to stealth and dash to get behind this boulder over there. Let's see if I have it.
Very well. Make me a stealth roll. Now, usually, I'm just saying you would have disadvantage, but something you just feel, whereas in this unfamiliar terrain you would be prone to tripping, something just kind of carries you, and whilst it's not easy, it's not as difficult as you think it could have been. So just roll the stealth, please.
Boy.
Still 6. I'm not a rogue. I have like Monty on my turn to also like fly up closer.
So she instantly turns as you see her. Sort of, oh no! See, you wouldn't see her, so because of this rubble here. But Klaus, you're aware of her turning her head, and her mouth opens very slowly, and these very sort of hodgepodge, higgledy-piggledy kind of array of needle-like teeth kind of get revealed, almost like a parrot's beak of sharp teeth, and she cocks her head and she looks away from where you were standing, and she looks towards Rain, and slowly and controlledly starts to walk towards him. I'll get everyone to roll initiative, but
No more.
Klaus, you get advantage, so you get to strike first. Let me just call up the table. How do I do that again? There we are.
Oh,
There we are.
what? Yeah.
I need to put mine in manually after rolling it with advantage.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I just didn't. No, that's just me choosing my freaking dirt. Roll that again.
I don't know, mine was in there, then it disappeared.
What did you roll? Let's see.
14. So I'm still last
yeah.
in the order. Unless you got anything hiding in that dark patch that I'm really nervous about.
Nervous about everything on this map.
Like, I'm not sure if I'm nervous that he's got a bunch of stuff hiding there, or if he's only thrown one thing at us, because that's even more terrifying.
This, I'm glad you're saying that, because this is the Shadowfell. It's more terrifying than even what I'm doing. It's because you've got 300 foot of fucking dark vision to help you. It's usually a lot more terrifying than this. But yeah, can you click on your character or your token and roll again, and I'll make that change.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just didn't want to keep like rolling just to go, fuck it, that'll do. It's not going to change the order. Unless you do have stuff in there.
Oh yeah. How do I? Oh yeah.
I think I can.
Yeah, that's alright. I can do it here. Yeah, 14, eh?
Yep.
And then, okay, fantastic. So, Klaus, you get to act first. You get to act first anyway. So you basically get 2 rounds, I think is what we'll say here. So you get your surprise round. Nobody else does. And then because your initiative is so high, you get to then take a secondary turn. So take 2 attacks if you wish.
So for his first turn, he's going to go down his little assassin trait, and basically he's going to take a knee, and he's going to do a thing called steady aim. So it gives him advantage on his first attack, but he also can't move now, so he's locked in. He's going to shoot with advantage, but with the assassin side of things, it is going to allow him to basically auto crit if he hits, which will be, instead of 1d8, be 2d8 plus 3 for the damage for his crossbow. Let's see how he goes.
Does that still give away his position?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I was hoping with the assassin trait, like, oh, you hit them out of nowhere and they don't know where it came from.
No such luck. What's that? Okay, so it's a 21. Does that hit?
A 21 does hit. Yes, it does.
Okay. Let me quickly roll. So that's
Sweet.
2 plus 3. Plus 3. Let's roll that manually because that's going to be way easier.
Ah, you actually had advantage on that, so it was 24.
Oh yeah.
So
So,
roll
like-
15 points of piercing damage. Nothing magical, nothing fancy with it. It's just a straight 14 points of damage.
Wow. The bolt just slams home, basically tearing out an enormous gouge in her upper thigh. You're a better shot than that. It's a fucking good shot. It basically just misses her heart by a good sort of 3 or 4 inches. Embeds itself deep into her chest, and you just hear this horrible sort of. It's almost like you expect it to sound like flesh, but it's like bark. It's like if you hit bark with a cricket bat or something like that. Hit a tree with a cricket bat. It's like a great big thuck sound. The hag sort of reels in agony and glares. Her fingers almost seem to grow. The nails almost seem to force themselves, almost like retractable, more so out of her fingers, and she appears to kind of grow larger, and just her spiked, sharp, needle-like teeth just turn back to you in very quickly, and she definitely knows that you're there now.
Okay. So he'll bonus action to reload the next bolt and then back into his normal turn. So just a normal spell attack, which is only a 13. I'm imagining that's not going to hit.
13 does not hit, no. The other one, perhaps being slightly put out by her horrific gaze, sends the secondary bolt just careering off to one side and landing harmlessly on the ground beside her.
That's him done.
Right, that would bring us to Rain. What would you like to do from your vantage point?
Yeah, I can't see her though from my point, can I?
Not quite currently, no, but you get an idea of where she is because of you can see Klaus and which way he's shooting, but you can't visibly see her, especially behind half cover that you're in there.
I want to send Monty to fly across the remaining patch of unexplored land and just ping me telepathically if he sees other enemies.
So this is to reveal what's inside the
Yes.
the ruins. Okay, very well.
I assume Monty just goes on my turn, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easier that way. So, from within, I'll get you to roll me a perception. That will let me tell you at this stage what you see.
Okay. My perception or Monty's?
Monty's, sorry, yes.
Yeah, okay, it'll be 18 for Monty.
18, well...
Actually, he has advantage. Let me try again. Never know. Yeah, 18 is higher.
He's able to notice, he's able to obviously notice the hag-looking creature that's here. She's slightly wounded, but there's... It's early days, but there's no blood as such, or any ichor that's present on her. Behind her, the roof has come off of this temple, but on the floor here you see stone sort of markings or engraving in the shape of the symbol of mask. Given your background and your study, you're sort of aware that this could have perhaps once have been a temple to mask, and it has either been destroyed. It's been destroyed somehow. In the far corner, you see a mysterious looking, for want of a better word, like a cocoon, and a book next to it seems to be open. The book still has some colour to it, which is interesting for the rest of the Shadowfell, and that's pretty much what Monty sees, and obviously this horrific-looking hag here.
Okay. I will then advance 30 feet myself. Can I see the hag now?
Yes, you can. Yeah, it's basically. Let me just. I don't know if I can draw it, but yeah, yes, you can. I can't draw it too readily, but yeah.
Yeah. Is she bloodied?
She has taken an arrow, not to the knee, unfortunately. She's taken. She nearly did, but she took an arrow to the chest.
But it's still like pretty tough looking, in other words.
Oh yeah, she looks like, with an orange at half time, she could walk it off.
In that case, I pull out my solid gold gilded skull and I whisper an incantation. Its eyes flare with green light, and near her there is a rune of green fire and a great zombie full of weeping sores and bloated boils of pus similar to the kinds, the exploding ones that you fought before in the Dark Tower. Just claws its way out of the ground through a portal and appears next to her as I conjure an undead.
Awesome. Would you like a token for that?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, give me one moment.
I have the stats for it. It's got 30 hit points and 14 AC, and it's got like a festering aura. So if she's within 5 feet of it and she starts her turn there, she has to roll a con save against my spell save or be poisoned until the start of her next turn.
I assume you make it start right next to her?
Yes, because it's within 5 feet.
And how many hit points? Sorry, 30?
Yeah, 30 hit points and 14 AC.
Okay, let me just make that. What's this zombie's name? Jeremy or
I
Joseph?
haven't thought of a name for him yet. I'm taking ideas.
Let's call him Carl.
Sure.
His name is Carl. And he is controlled by rain. And this everyone can see. And this everyone can see. And save. There's Carl. I present you Carl.
Fantastic.
And so you've taken Monty's turn, you've taken your turn, you've cast a... Is there any other movement or anything else you'd like to do as a bonus action? Rain? Rain?
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, sorry. Is there anything else you'd like to do for your turn, like a bonus action or movement?
Oh, it must have cut out my previous thing. Carl can make an attack if he can attack on this turn.
Sure, okay. Carl will also move on your turn just to make it easier. Alright then, yes, please make him make an attack.
Oh yeah, it says here, it's an ally to me companions and shares my initiative, takes its turn immediately after mine, so that's fine. Fantastic.
Great.
Okay. He will make a rotting claw attack, which is a melee attack. Let me see. I may have to roll to attack first. Hang on.
Yeah, or you just click on the pink things, don't you? Click on the pink descriptions and that'll fire off his damage.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they roll from that.
Oh, and it uses my spell modifiers. Okay, fantastic. Making an attack roll now. 12 to hit.
Doesn't hit, I'm afraid.
That's fine. He's still new, bless him.
Yeah, so does she have to make a, or does it have to make a...
Yes, con save against DC 15.
Okay. Take the first one. She, while she gags and reels, and like, if such a hideous beast could perform like a face of disgust, she does her best. Perhaps like almost like a serpent, her mouth, the sides of her mouth open just a little bit wider, and she hisses defiantly at the creature as it tries to swipe and overbear her with its foul stench. Even downwind, Klaus, you're getting a little bit of a whiff of this. Rain, you summon this shit all the time. You're pretty used to it, but yeah, Klaus, this is you don't necessarily want to have to rush into battle now.
No, it's like perhaps next time I've some formaldehyde or something to kill the senses.
Okay, Rain, very nice. You've definitely added a few extra goodies, should I say, to the table. And that brings us to the Dusk Hag.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. She, on seeing, she has line of sight on both of you. Klaus, as you've injured her, she turns her gaze to you and casts this spell on you. Oop. Hopefully it was oh, why isn't it? Oh, hang on. click on her. Click on. I see what it's done. She casts. She casts this spell on you. The spell shapes a creature's dreams. Choose a creature. No, hang on.
No, you've sent Dream, not the spell.
Shit. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's still a pretty brutal one.
Yeah. That's Dream that's come through.
No, yeah, that's what she has. She's a dust hag. That's her thing. The target must be on the same plane. Creatures that don't.
Obviously. Usually, the dream targets a sleeping person.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. I thought it sent them to sleep. In which case, then she will cast.
No, it's gotta get an addendum there. Like if the target is asleep.
If the target is awake when you cast the spell, the messenger knows it and can either end.
No, it has to target a sleeping person.
Yeah. Okay.
It specifically says like if the target is asleep, the messenger appears in the target's dreams.
It's also a 1 minute cast time, so.
Oh yeah. So that.
Oh yeah, good point.
She casts hypnotic pattern instead.
That's even
Oh
worse.
god.
That's way worse.
And.
Shit! It hits you both.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does that hit Rain as well?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. What DC?
Good question.
What do you say? Ooh. That'll probably do it.
Amidst my shit stealth rolls, I at least managed to make this.
Just got to familiarise myself with where I actually see.
So, yeah, this. Uh-oh.
Oh, here you go. Yeah. Okay. So.
I would say I fail regardless.
Yeah. Rain, you're able to, with your strength of mind, you're able to sort of steady your thoughts and not be drawn into the confusing light display. But unfortunately, Klaus, this is like primetime TV. This is like Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
You're into this.
Ouch.
And you sort of stand there, kind of swaying. And that is the Dusk Hag's turn. Also, naturally, she does get 2 attacks, multi-attack. No, my bad. She gets
but
1.
she's already cast the spell.
Yeah, she's done the spell. My bad. Yeah. So that's her turn. It would be Dorfl, your turn.
Cool. How high would you say? Oop, no. Like this is.
I would say it's a good in places. It's as low as maybe 25 foot, but in places it's as high as perhaps 40 foot.
So if I was to say run 30 feet to, it's not cooperating. 30 feet to say here, and then if I wanted to go over the collapsed part, how high would we say that is?
I would say, given you've got to climb, your best hope would be that you could make it to the wall comfortably, and with a successful climb you could make it on top of the wall, giving you probably quite a good vantage point. With a successful climb roll. Otherwise, if you slip on some rubble, then you might not be able to pull yourself up to the top.
Sorry, did you mention me at all? I have to step out for a second.
No, just trying to work out because I could dash up there, and then that's my action, or I can try and just like go over here. That's still gonna be my action. I'm just something between spider climb or levitate.
Spider climb would ensure that you could climb up, so that's probably a good vantage point on the wall there, or yeah, or just chance the climb roll, the athletics roll, and see how it goes.
Yeah, it's athletics to climb, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got -1 for that. That's probably not a good idea.
It's not to say you can't do it, it's just it might be difficult.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's probably not the best idea. So rain is not. I can't even get it within sight. Alright. I'm just gonna run out to here and then cast Spider Climb on myself.
Okay, very nice. Brings us back to the top of the pops. That is Klaus.
Right.
You get, I think, a saving roll.
I don't remember if I do get a saving roll or not.
Oh.
Quick save or failed save, the out. I don't think I get to make a save. I think I'm only out if I take any damage or if someone else uses an action to shake me out. But yeah, I'm out.
Okay. Yeah, and you're not a hexblood, so the charmed thing really affects you.
Yeah, I am still blissfully unaware of what's going on.
Yeah. So that would bring us to Rain. It's your menagerie's turn.
Yeah, Carl can well, go first, but I will run 10 feet up, shake Klaus awake, and then back up 20 feet.
Okay, great. Klaus, you feel a jolt to the back of your shoulder as Rain comes up, and a familiar voice seems to sort of pull you back into the now. Your well-honed kind of assassin skills begin to almost like switch on, like a computer powering up again, and you're like, right, it's on. That suddenly the hypnotic pattern that was so enthralling is now seen as it for what it is, as a distraction, and your attentions are turned back towards the dusk hag.
Nice. Back for the next round.
And Carl swipes and misses. Oh, actually, Monty can come in and do a flyby and give Carl advantage.
Yep.
So you'll do 25 feet. So Carl will swoop in, harass her, and fly back out here. Then Monty does that, and Carl gets another swipe. Come on, Carl. Oh, yes. Okay, there we go. Above 20 to hit.
Oh, that's a hit.
And he will do 1d6 plus 3 plus the level's worth of slashing damage. So let's see. So he will slash her for 9 slashing damage.
9. Very nice. 9.
And that's me done.
Okay, she's looking pretty worse for wear. Now, as far as his stinky pants aroma goes, does she have to make a roll for that each turn, or is it like a thing that he turns off and on, or she gets an immunity to it, or?
It is, let me see, it's any creature that starts within 5 feet must do the turn, do the con save. I guess it's a permanent aura. It's a festering aura.
So she's probably all right about it now.
Yeah, on her turn she had to roll again.
Ah, right. Okay, so anything else you'd like to do, Rain?
No, that's me done.
Okay, that brings us
I
to
use my action to shake Klaus awake, so that's, yeah.
the dusk slag, and
Jesus.
she is
Very
going to rather relatively deftly. Let's just get the old measuring tape out. No, that's
She's gonna make her con save first.
okay. Con is 11. So I take it she
So-
fails.
Yes, because my DC is 15. So what happens is she is poisoned until the start of the next turn, of her next turn.
Oh wow.
So she has the poison condition, which is, I think, disadvantage to attack and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, she is poisoned. She doesn't much care for that and wants to get away from the zombie that seems to be stinking her out. She is somewhat scared, you would say, by the owl, by Monty that is attacking her, and she's going to make a let's see here. She's going to make a beeline. Or to attack Klaus.
Ooh, does Carl get a opportunity attack?
He does, yeah.
Come on, Klaus. You guys, you have to believe in Klaus. No, it was nearly an 18. Nah, he misses.
Yeah. So it's 11 all up, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, sadly he swipes, but given his necrofied remains, or the state of his body, unfortunately he misses as she lunges with a venomous acuity towards Klaus, and she goes to make 2 attacks with disadvantage. So
Actually, I've just remembered something as well. Only because I've looked at hags before. I think when Klaus came to, the Dusk Hag gets a reaction of Dream Eater when someone comes back to consciousness.
oh
I
yeah,
think I've got DC 15 Wisdom saving throw, or else I'm getting whacked.
that's right. Yeah,
Oh shit.
that's it down here. Yeah.
Hags are nasty. I should know. You guys might have killed one last weekend.
Yeah, like, I feel like someone's thrown one of those at us at least once before.
So yes, when an unconscious creature, so you're gonna make a DC.
Okay, he
15.
manages.
Hey, excellent! Wow, that's a bunch ton of psychic damage, isn't it?
It is. It is. These things are gnarly. I like them.
She still moves in to make the attack. Sometimes I feel like I talk like Captain Kirk from the Starship Enterprise, where I sometimes think about what I'm saying as I speak, and
You start your sentence and then you work out where it's going.
yeah, that's it. So she is going to make a nightmare touch attack on you to reach by furlong creatures. First attack, 20 for an 8, misses.
Missed.
Second attack for a 9, misses.
Damn, that'll miss as well.
Look at that fucking damage! Holy shit!
I mean, bloody good thing she missed too. Yeah.
Yeah, but now you're basically saliva, and now you see for the first time that there is black, thick ichor starting to sort of pool around where you shot her, and she sort of breathes somewhat laboriously, and unnervingly laughs, just like a cute little girl at you.
Oh no. No. Oh god. Boy.
Okay, Dorfl.
Hmm.
What you got, Dorfl?
I got a bunch of options, and none of them are overly helpful. Hmm.
Oh, just out of curiosity, Rain, do you still have the light cantrip glowing?
I don't think so, because I think we went for the dark vision instead of the light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
The,
Alright.
Rain step every stick it's possible to step on in his path, so it's a moot point.
So, I'm going to make a dash to the 40 feet to get to the open glowing term. And can I do anything with this without it being in action?
No, because the dash would take up all of your action to get there.
That's what I thought.
That's alright. It could be something useful.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna, if I can, recount that a little bit then. I can't get anywhere where I've... Or would that be a kind of direct line of sight? That tree's out of the way.
Yeah, from where you are, not from where the arrow is, but from where you are, you would just about get direct line of sight if you timed it right.
Nah, damn, because that took 40 feet. I was hoping, like, from here, I could see past that tree.
The boulders here are about the same height as her.
Okay, fair.
You could like see the top of her head, so I guess it would be direct line of sight, but it wouldn't be great.
Or she can just have half cover, 3/4 cover.
Yeah.
Just sort of try and make it up, I
I'd
guess.
say she'd have half cover.
So it's half cover?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Because I get to ignore half cover with my arcane firearm.
Jeez.
I'm gonna use fairy fire. Or
You
I
still
probably
got
shouldn't.
after the dash.
Oh shit. Yep, good point.
Yeah.
That's right. Sets you up though.
So I wouldn't be able to. So from here, don't have sight.
No, the tree and the remnants of the wall would be in your way, sadly.
That's fair. Alright. I'll recount my movement back to here anyway, and I'm gonna use... I'm gonna use my action to summon the Eldritch Cannon. And I'm gonna make it tiny and set it on my shoulder for now.
That's so cool.
That'll be the end of my turn.
Alright, that's cool. And just so I get an idea of time, how is everyone looking tonight? Like, my girlfriend's actually out all night and went back to tomorrow, so I can do a bit of a late night burn, but how's everyone looking?
I've got a date
Yeah.
later, but she's out by herself as well, so I'm good.
I'm
Everyone's
for
good?
Probably the next hour. I'll be good for the next half hour.
Alright, that's sick. That's sick.
Sweet.
That would bring us to Klaus, back to the top of the turn. Klaus,
Cool.
just roll me perception quickly.
Okay.
In fact,
Yep.
everyone roll me perception.
Also, sorry, may I get 2 tiny but distinct tokens?
Yeah.
Thank you. Like, I need one for my Eldritch Cannon and one for my Homunculus. Because I'm picturing the homunculus as a tiny creature just like sitting in a breast pocket.
This one can be your homunculus. And just shrink it down a bit more. Wow, that's tiny. Controlled by Dorfl and
Thank you.
Tommy.
You know what? Within 20 feet, I should have made the homunculus run up and grab that book. Damn it.
And that's Tommy for you. And what was the other one?
The Eldritch Cannon.
Jesus. Alright, this one will represent your Eldritch Cannon. There.
Lovely.
Cannon, and nameplate controlled by Dorfl and there. Those are your accessible creatures. Everyone, let's see, Rain and Klaus and Dorfl, what kind of perception roll did you get there, mate?
Sorry, just give me 2 seconds. Not a good one.
So through the rain and the thunder, both Rain and Klaus, you hear this very sort of distant, like, shriek, as if from like up above, and it just kind of like. If you were close to it, you reckon it would be deafening, but from a distance, you just hear this shriek, and it kind of is louder than all the other moans and unnerving sounds of the Shadowfell forest. The witch, or hag, as it were, seems to be oblivious to this.
Interesting.
And it's your turn, Klaus.
Okay, Klaus is going to switch. So the crossbow definitely quickly packed away, and he's going to draw his new blade. He's going to circle round just a little bit to here, still keeping you within range. He's going to swipe out with the weapon of certain death. See how this goes. 17.
That name.
Is that certain death for me or my opponent?
For a 17.
Yes, 17 all up. For the hit.
Now, what's the rule? And I should know this because I'm DM in inverted commas. If it's the same as the AC, is it discounted or?
It
If
hits.
it's 7 hits.
It hits. So yeah, 17 hits just about. You literally just about penetrate.
I think a nice way of helping you remember it is beats it, beats it.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Beats it. Yeah, that's a good way. I was trying to remember what you said like last session.
Sorry, what was that, Isaac?
Meets it, beats it. If you meet
Oh,
it,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, she's looking relatively healthy still, though. She sort of defiantly rips and breaks the arrow that was in her chest out and glares straight at you, Klaus, and licks her own blood off of the tip of the broken arrow and tosses it down to the ground towards you. Again, her mouth, you think it can't disgorge anymore, if that's the right word, or distend anymore, and it gets even bigger, and her eyes, her hollow silvery eyes just kind of take you in, and I size you up for prey. What would you
Nice.
like to do? That was your turn.
Finishes up for Klaus, and he's just gonna say, "Mein Gott." He's got a plan. He's got a plan for the next round. He's just trying to keep the hag away from Rain at the moment.
Okay, it's Rain's turn. What would you like to do?
Rain will back up a little bit behind this rock, but still, inside of her. And cast Toll the Dead on her. Actually, you know what? No, he'll use Firebolt.
Okay. So, what's that? Dex?
Oh no, I just have to make an attack roll. So 25 to hit.
Is a hit.
Cast an orb, a skull of fire that slaps her for 15 fire damage.
Yep. Her hair, surprisingly, not what you thought was her robes, but her hair starts to catch on fire and smolders, and her face turns from a defiant anger to fear somewhat. And suddenly the shadow fell. Whilst you think that the flame should have lit up the area more than what it is doing, there's now an orange flickering glow around where Klaus and the hag are, and she takes 15 damage.
And then Carl will lumber up behind her and try and slam her.
Slam!
Yeah. Come on, Carl.
Yes, rolling. Oh, it was nearly a crit as well. Very respectable 19 to hit.
Does hit, yes.
That's good. Carl's finally getting his shit together.
Yeah. You just had to warm up. Oh, rolling at 6 on the d6. So that's 12 slashing damage.
Wow.
Nice.
Be nice.
Oh, she's also poisoned, isn't she, from
Yes.
previously?
Oh yes, so yeah.
If he attacks her and she is poisoned, she has to make another con save or be paralyzed.
Ooh.
So that's her health and another con save,
I was reading up on that
which she fails.
spell
Oh,
as well. That's pretty fucking
Yeah.
versatile.
So she is now paralyzed till the end of her next turn.
so she's
So we have a
no
free
longer
round.
poisoned.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, she's no longer poisoned, but she'll have to make the poison save again right at the start of her turn because he's right next to her. I conjured a tank for us, Klaus.
Right. Fantastic move.
Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, she's paralyzed, so she kind of can't move. Almost fitting through the poison, the toxins that are sort of coursing through her thick black blood, and yeah, she cannot move. This brings us to her turn. Again, just the whole area in this time that she's convulsing just falls deathly silent. There's no moaning. It's almost as if the rain falls apologetically, like softly onto the ground. You can hear you're all exerted from focusing on the battle so far, and all you can hear suddenly is just your breathing, and it's just in, out. Then you hear that shriek again, as closer but still at a distance. Before the shriek can finish, suddenly a great big gust of wind and a loud, shrill noise fills all of your ears as an enormous, or large, should I say, for category's sake, a large creature bamps out of the shadows, like shadows roiling and pulling into themselves, like almost extracting from the Shadowfell. This creature that once sounded so far away suddenly appears, and I'll get Rain and Klaus and the Hag and Carl to make me a strength check, please.
I think I know what these are, and they are terrifying.
No, Jesus.
Uh-oh, strength. This is not good.
Oh. What about Carl?
Oh yeah. Let's see. Ooh, Carl has a +1 to strength, so that's good.
Go Carl.
Oh, that's not gonna help. You roll a 4.
Okay. Klaus, Rain, and Carl. Basically, you all, as this creature sort of bamps from the shadows into existence, the gust of wind from where it was flying seconds before, basically knocks you to the ground, and you and the Hag are prone. It takes a moment just to look around at you one by one, and in seeing the Hag, it lets out a shriek, and I will just call up its shriek. I need everyone just to make a DC 13 Constitution save, please.
It's a no for me.
That would also be you as well, Dorfl.
I did. I went 19.
Oh, yeah. And Rain?
Oh, do I have to make it save?
Yeah, it's an area effect.
And then Carl does as well, I imagine.
Yes, for this one, yeah.
Ooh. 16 for me.
It's a success.
And let's see how Carl does. No, 14.
Bloomstalker, hey?
That's right.
It doesn't sound good.
This is its home environment, I'm just saying.
That sounds even worse.
What happened to the scouting Monty?
Oh yeah, Monty's still out there. He acts on your turn, yeah?
Yes. He just didn't have quite the movement to do anything last turn.
This would bring us to the Dusk Hag. She has... And Dorfl, what did you
Paralyzed.
get? She is paralyzed. Let's see. Dorfl, you succeeded. It would be your turn. What would you like to do?
Alright, so with both of my little minions, they're sitting on my shoulders, I'm going to move up to the book, and I'm going to inspect it, like, you know, pick it up and have a look. What have we got here?
Okay, from it's basically a book. This seems to be crackling with both electrical energy and smoke. It's the very corners of the bindings are kind of almost ashen, and it looks like the brasswork that's on the front and back cover, as well as the spine, is sort of tinged or tarnished, as though tempered by fire and electricity, and what have you. It's although the book on the mat is open, the book is actually bound closed with 2 buckles, and that's all you can really work out. Apart from obviously the strange thing is that it's crackling with some kind of electrical energy.
Okay, damn it! I must have misunderstood you before. I thought you said it was open. I was hoping it had something to do with what was going on with this. All right, well, I'll pocket that then,
Okay.
and finish my. Sorry, it sounded like you were about to say something about that book.
No, that's all cool. And obviously, being so close, you can see it's some kind of like spider's web or some such that's happening over here. In about the same sort of crude shape and size of a body.
Oh yeah. Is it moving?
No, it is not.
Cool. Oh, that'll stay there for a bit longer. I'll pocket the book and I'll finish my movement to get up to here. Bring my minions with me. Or actually, I'm going to leave the homunculus down there to like poke around at that and see what it can find out.
Okay, so that happens on your turn.
I think the homunculus has its own turn. It just kind of ties in with my action.
Oh, okay.
But I am going to use the Force Ballista, which gives me a nice clean shot at whatever the hell this is.
L
For
Gloomstalker.
2d8.
2d8. Okay.
Oh, I need to make a ranged spell attack too. Sorry. How do I just make a generic ranged spell attack? Oh,
Unfortunately, it goes wide and doesn't hit the creature as it sort of screams defiantly into the or has finished screaming defiantly into the sky. That would bring us. Is there anything else you would like to do with your? That was your homunculus. What about your attack cannon?
no, that was the cannon. The
Oh.
homunculus only has a range of 30 feet.
Okay. Yep. You gonna say something?
Yeah, sorry, no, I'm just quickly working out like what the homunculus can do while I'm not. So it shares my initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after mine. It can move and use its own reaction on its own turn. But the only action it can take on its turn is dodge.
Oh.
Unless I use my reaction to tell it to do something, or tell it to do something else.
Oh, okay. So you could do that because you still have a reaction
No, I had to use my reaction to fire the first cannon.
then. Oh, right. Oh, nuts. Hyperextending yourself. Okay.
Yeah, really overloading my reaction on that one. Just.
That brings us to this horrific. Now that it's landed, you guys have had some chance to sort of see it. The parts of the creature that aren't roiling in shadows appear to almost be like a reptilian sort of looking thing, perhaps like a wyvern or a dragon of some sort. It kind of takes a moment just to kind of flap its wings again and lunges towards the paralyzed dusk hag as she's lying convulsing on the ground, just inches away from you, Klaus. Klaus, you can't move, and you just see these enormous shadowy jaws and this like pointed black licking tongue come towards you, and at the last moment, it just within inches from your sort of body, from your face, it moves and grabs the hag, and with a couple of successful bounds of its wings, it takes to the sky and rips it up. For what seems like just a second or so, it gathers immense height. It takes all its movement. It moves 40 foot up into the air, and you think it's almost gone until beside you, thud, a deafening crack of the dusk hag's lifeless body smacks into the ashen-coloured dirt. Briefly, there's a silence before again shadows and wind and gust kind of like displace all the dirt around, and the creature comes pounding onto its onto the hag's prey, onto its prey, and starts biting at it furiously, finishing the foul witch. It then looks up for its next quarry, and that's its turn.
Holy damn. Alright, so range-wise it's still kind of where it is now?
Yeah, so El Hago is basically underneath him, minus a head.
Prone and paralyzed, so I don't think I can do anything on this turn.
Okay.
I think I'll become at least paralyzed until the end of the enemy's next turn. Okay, no, I guess that means that my paralysis is up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's his next turn.
So I've just got to use a good 5 foot to get up. And then we'll get the drop on it, but I'm just going to move up and I'm going to use inflict wounds.
Nasty.
See how that goes. It's a 19.
19 is definitely going to hit.
So it will take 20 points of necrotic damage.
Holy moly.
Manages to reach out, and the incantation kind of quickly muttering on his lips as he unleashes a torrent of that necrotic energy into it. That'll end Klaus's turn.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, given its natural habitat is the Shadowfell, the necrotic damage seems to do work just as you would have expected. And yeah, the creature sort of is crippled. It kind of shudders and shakes its enormous head in surprise agony, not usually used to being knocked a couple of rungs down the food chain. And it cranes its enormous head on its articulating neck, and it looks at you, and it kind of almost goes to shriek, but sort of nothing comes out, and that would bring us to Rain.
Rain will conjure a shadowy sphere in one palm and cast Toll the Dead on it. Is to make a DC 15 with save.
Okay. What was it? Wisdom?
Yup.
Oh. This motherfucker is
no.
wise. I'm just saying.
And then Carl will come in, try and slap it.
Okay.
Activate Carl Slap.
Tickle him up, Carl.
Ah, over 20 to hit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 20 hits.
I'm liking the health bar we've got above the Gloomstalker too.
Yeah,
7 slashing damage.
7.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, it's as his claws sort of rake through a lot of shadow stuff, it gets some purchase onto something that's more in the material and tears a gouge through the creature. Just hunks of shadow stuff and shadow flesh just drop to the ground, polluting the ground and making it spoil and sort of turn an oily black. Rain, is there anything else you'd like to do?
Yes, I will back up. Just so I'm not so close to him.
Nice.
Oh, actually. Okay. Dorfl, you've seen that this thing can indeed be injured, and as terrifying as it is, it's, well, some distance away from you, but as you're on the battlements, as it were, or the ruins, you definitely get to see what's happening. It's big enough for you to be able to see it.
Excellent.
Now, does Monty get
If
a
I-
go, just quickly? Does Monty get moved, or what do you want to do with
Okay,
Monty?
sure.
Rain.
Sorry, what was that?
Does Monty, do you want to move Monty or anything, just while we're on your turn, just briefly?
Sure, Monty will come. He'll fly there.
Alright, awesome. Sorry about that, Dorfl. Your turn.
Nope, not alright. Alright, so I've got a clear line of sight from where I am.
You do, yeah. Yes. From where it is? Yes, you do.
Fantastic. I'm going to cast Cure Wounds through my homunculus into whatever is in the webbing here.
The webbing, yeah, the cocoon.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. The small little, just the small little man kind of like, is that a man-looking thing, or you made him look like a humanoid?
Yeah, for now. We'll adjust that later.
Yeah. So the little humanoid man kind of cutely kind of waddles up and places his hands on the head of the cocoon creature, and holy radiant energy begins to sort of seep from your from its hands, and the strands that seem to be binding the creature just kind of slowly begin to melt in places, and you see the first sort of movement within the cocoon, like it's just sort of slightly sort of twitching. Real
Alright.
good or real bad?
Well, that was my action, so I can't do anything more from that as far as it is. But he's switching. I'm hoping it's Deval, but all I can do from here, I'm gonna take another shot. I miss.
Okay. That brings us to the Gloom Stalker. Fully antagonized by the barrage of attacks that is faced from Klaus as well as Carl, the two Ks. It turns its attentions to Klaus, and let's see.
Oh, he has to make a con save.
The Gloom Stalker does.
Yes, if he's in 5 feet of Carl.
Ah.
He's poisoned.
So it is poisoned. So it goes for a bite attack with a disadvantage. If I press Alt, So disadvantage gets an 18 on its bite.
Still a good hit.
And maybe if I try control this time. Here you are, control. Yeah. With the claws. It's a. Oh, that's more confusing. It's a. Let's pick the lowest. It's a 13 with its claws.
Just barely misses.
So a devastating blow with its bite. It causes both 20. Where are we? It was the 18, wasn't it? Yeah. So it causes 11 piercing and 6 necrotic damage to you.
Yeah. That was a good hit. Oh, hang on,
And that
there
would
was
be-
another. Is there another attack? 2 claw attacks?
The Gloomstalker makes 2 attacks, one with its bite and one with its claws. So no,
Okay,
that's
gotcha.
its
All right.
turn. It's delivered some rather nasty damage to you, and moving us to Klaus, your turn.
Okay, let's see here. Still just gonna try and make it a bit more decisive for it. He's gonna still wheel around, but just kind of to the other side of Carl, but trying to keep a bit of distance away from Carl because Carl seems pretty festy. And then again, at this time with the rapier, see if they can. No, bad roll. That is not going to hit.
Maybe somewhat staggered by your by the attack you unfortunately miss with yours.
That's him done. I'm just going to keep on him.
Okay, that brings us to Rain. It's your turn.
He will cast. He will make the runes on his armor glow hot orange, and he will launch a fireball from his breastplate and use his arcane might to sculpt it around Carl, Klaus, and Monty, and I suppose himself. I don't know. The fireball is, could potentially actually be that big. So only the Gloomstalker is.
Yeah, it's 30 feet, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's okay. Every ally is protected.
Yep.
So he just launches a sculpted fireball. He has to make a Dex 15 save or take 31 fire damage.
just rolling out the way.
Isn't he poisoned though? Does he get disadvantage, or does the poison end him?
The poison only ends for until
It's his son.
until
It's-
his turn. Yeah.
Yeah. It's poison until the start of its next turn. So
Still
would he be
poisoned.
poisoned?
Still poison then.
Still poisoned. Yeah.
So whilst infected with the venom or the toxins of of Carl's fetid stink, it looks like it's about to make it, and then suddenly just is racked with
Sparkles.
agony and doesn't make it, taking 31 damage.
Huzzah!
Fucking
You got
solid
enough
hit.
poison, haven't you?
And then Carl will come in for his swipe. Oh, 23 to hit.
That hits.
1d6 plus 6 damage. 9 slashing damage. And because he's hit and poisoned, he must make a DC 15 con save or be paralyzed.
So that's 9 slashing
Yep.
and Constitution save. 18.
He makes it. He's got good con.
Yeah, it's fair. It's nowhere near his fucking strength, is all I'm saying. At least you're not arm wrestling this bastard right now. Yes, good work, Rain. So, does Monty have a turn?
Oh yes, Monty will do a flyby. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. So he will fly by, harass the goose off, and then fly back to his position, basically. And then Dorfl, your next attack will have advantage.
Yes.
Pleasant.
Fantastic. So, Dorfl, it's your turn. You have advantage on the roll, and you have a line of sight.
Fantastic. So you said the cocoon started kicking about.
Yep.
Is it kicking about like randomly thrashing, or is it trying to get out?
It's like as if someone was coming to, so it's starting to sort of systems up, power up as it were, and where the hands are sort of kind of starting to claw at the webbing that seems to have it bound.
Okay, yeah. So like casting more cure wounds isn't gonna do anything more for it. It's awake now.
Yeah, it's just trying to come to.
God, you're all too close to it. Alright, I'm gonna use my Force Ballista first. Which hits for 2d8.
So you have advantage, and I'm only saying that because you might get a crit.
That's a good point.
But not
Yeah.
in this instance.
But if that does hit, I do get to push it back, it's 5 or 10 foot?
It's usually 10 foot.
Welcome to...
I assume you're pushing it away from you, or how are you doing? 'Cause otherwise it could go into Klaus.
It'd have to be away from me, like, that'd be weird otherwise,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah. Otherwise it's a pull.
like, I literally just had it up, and then I clicked into something else, and now I've lost it. There's honestly quite a lot going on with the, artificers. Yeah, 2d8. 5 feet away from the cannon.
Okay. It moves 5 feet away from the cannon? Sure.
Oh, this is not bad.
So that would probably be... let's just say that.
Yeah, fair. It's looking pretty weak. I probably shouldn't hit it with Shatter. Heat Metal's not gonna work. Alright. I'm gonna use Scorching Ray. You create 3 rays. I'm gonna hit all 3 at the same target. And I get to roll 1d8. So sorry, are we counting that as like 1 roll to hit, and then that's the damage?
Okay.
No, sorry, I was asking.
What are you saying? So 1d8?
So because it's 3 rays, but I'm aiming them all at the same target, do I roll 3 times for each ray,
Yes.
or?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be separate attacks.
So they're all separate? Alright. Sorry, hold on, it's locked me out because I used all my spell slots. There we go. Go.
So that's
So,
a 7 and a 6 definitely hits, and they all hit.
they all hit?
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Because they're my arcane firearm, I get a 1d8 per... Oh, is it per spell or per... This is the first time I've used this spell with the arcane firearm, and just want to make sure I'm doing it right. Surely it's only like a 1d8. It wouldn't be 3. That'd be too strong.
What is this? Your power?
The arcane firearm. It's one of the abilities I've got. I can create an arcane firearm that gives you a 1d8 per. I'm not sure if it's per spell or per. It adds 1d8 to the damage of your spell.
Oh, it's pretty good. I'm just calling it out.
I'm just not
It's
sure if
one
it's
of
like.
the damage rolls, so it's just one, I think. I think you can only do it once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like per spell class. Oh, sorry, per spell cast, not per hit. Cool. Oh, that was not worth all the hassle.
So is that an additional 2 damage?
Yep.
Right. It looks very ropey, but it's still in there. Like blood is just seeping from its skin. Like I say, black foul shadow stuff sort of drops onto the floor and like dissolves the shadow field below. It goes to try and shriek, but can't muster a call, and then just suddenly summoning what little strength it had left, it basically lunges towards Klaus and sticking its huge claws into either side of his chest and shoulders, just grabs into him and rips him from out of the sky. Suddenly he's in front of you, and then there's just a mess of roiling shadows as the Gloomstalker makes a quick getaway with Klaus in its clutches. All that's left is a trail of shadow stuff, blood, and one dead witch trampled into the ground. Klaus is some 40 foot into the sky, and the creature flies another 80 foot as it hightails out of there.
This is why Shadow Step is horrific.
I've got 120 range on my cannon.
So, I mean, that brings us to Rain. If you want to do anything.
So the creature has grabbed Klaus and flown 120 foot up, basically.
Not up, but it's bamfed like 40 foot away from you, like to the tree line, and then
Okay.
has then flown another 80 foot on top of that. So
Visible at all.
this is about 120 foot away at the tree line. So difficult to see, but not impossible.
I cast a fireball after it. Because it's a 60 foot wide fireball, it can't miss.
Okay. Let's roll for it.
He has to make a DC 15 dex save.
And almost anticipating a rebuke, it just at the last minute uses regains more of its energy as it gathers distance from you and skips sort of out the way, just flies out the way. More luck than judgment, really.
So he takes half damage.
Okay. So half. What is the damage? 23. Minus. That's 12. Oh, it's here. Two screens, very confusing. Okay, so it basically collapses, careens out of the sky, out of sight, back into the tree line, some almost, let's say, 130 foot away. And there's silence all around you. All you can hear now is the pitter-patter of rain, and the creature, along with Klaus, has disappeared.
I
was the oracle that made its plummet. I guess. Being what?
What was that?
How high up would have the Gloomstalker have been when it was when it got clipped, when it finally fell?
Well, like I say, it did a 40-foot bamf to the above the tree line just to get out of there, and then 80 foot pretty much flew straight up.
Ooh. There's going to be some fall damage there.
Yep. Do you want to roll for that?
Yeah, that would be...
Rain will move his 30 feet as well on his turn towards them. Like he'll shoot his fireball as an action and then like run towards, anticipating Klaus to fall from the sky, possibly.
So what are you doing, Rain? Sorry.
He's just running his 30 feet towards where Rachel was.
Oh. Oh shit.
Wow. That's a good drop.
How do you look after that, Klaus?
He's definitely down. He is a good 13 past.
Oh.
That. I remember how that ends out.
Okay. That pretty much ends initiative. What? How do
I mean, good shot right at the end. Like, fucking came in clutch.
Rain will be dashing towards where Klaus fell. I could probably get there within 2 turns. So even if he's making death saves, I can get there. And then use the healer kit.
Okay. Roll me a survival.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you have to work your way through unfamiliar territory to get there. People can help, but yeah.
Oh, who can help me?
Anyone can if you move as a group, then anyone can help.
Oh, Carl can help me.
Oh,
Carl
yeah.
and one. I'm like, find him. Okay, rolling second time. Oh, Jesus Christ. Nope. But never. I'll send Carl and Monty to split up and look for Klaus. Monty can see from the air and ping me telepathically. So.
Okay. How long is he going to be looking till he finds him?
Yeah. Oh, Monty. I can roll for Monty. Monty at least has a +3, I think, an advantage to stealth. Perception. Yeah, if you can use perception.
Okay. Yeah, do that.
Let's see. Come on, Monty. Oh, nice. 19.
No matter how long Monty and Carl search, they don't find anything. It's as though both Klaus and the Gloomstalker were just not there. You look at where exactly, you've assessed the trajectory, but the strange things are afoot in the Shadowfell.
Oh, for God's sake. He's just rubbing the bridge of his nose. Yeah.
You can't get the staff. So, what would... Oh, Dorfl. Is there anything you would like to do?
I'm gonna go down and inspect this cocoon.
The heck?
Like,
You're
what
just
is
gonna-
going on?
Okay, so...
Well, like, you guys are all the way out there, and I've got this writhing body down here that's,
roll me,
possibly Duval.
roll me an investigation and a strength check. It's not really difficult. So with your powers of deduction, you're able to work out all the weak spots within the silk that binds him. With your successful strength check, you're soon able to free someone that looks. Sorry, I'm moving the thing. Someone that looks similar to Duval, only his skin is more ashen. If it was possible, his demeanor, his face is more dour and almost sullen, and his hair appears to be even more jet black than perhaps when you last remember. And maybe Cam, you'd like to explain what he looks like now.
All right. So, writhing out of the little cocoon, the vestige that was Duval previously is still there. He kind of cracks a grin looking at Dorfl as he's coming to. Still missing that one eye, still that golden orb kind of embedded straight into it. He definitely looks a bit different. His time here has definitely leached colour out of his being, but for some strange reason before, Duval was quite wiry, but now he seems a little bit more robust. But he seems to have lost in colour and maybe even demeanour. He seems to have increased in strength. He just lifts up an arm and clasps Dorfl, sure whether to laugh or attack. He gives it the benefit of the doubt. Did you come here?
Did you come here?
Why did you come here?
Why, we're looking for one of our, friends. Also, we just kind of wound up here.
As good as reason as any, but it's just we get the hell out. However you came
What
in.
did- Well, why did you come here?
It wasn't really a choice.
Well, that wasn't for us either, but you seem to be doing a much worse job of it than we are.
Don't worry. Stay here for long enough and you'll end up in one of these as well, if you're lucky.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. This whole place is kind of creepy. Come meet these guys.
I've no idea.
Sorry, I say come meet these guys. We're gonna get down there and it's just rain and the festering zombie.
Yeah, there's a small group of you.
Yeah, come meet Rain and Carl.
Yes, you're able to regroup, say at the fallen statue of Mask, and from behind a tree steps a fully leather-clad figure with a stitched and bound leather mask that the stitching runs through basically what would be the nose and over the mouth. And whereas you would expect the sound to be muffled, it's very clear. And he begins to clap and says, "You constantly surprise me. I didn't expect Shar to throw in one of her minions, but when I heard that there was a hag, especially in my house," and he sort of points to like the remnants of his temple. He says, I couldn't abide that. I have a confession. Primarily, I really just wanted my house to be cleaned, and for the hag and her coven to be removed. And well, manipulative as I may be, I saw an opportunity and I struck while the iron was hot, and it paid off. You have, well, the majority of your friend Duval back. I don't think he'll ever be the same again. And sort of Mask kind of just strides around like he sort of owns the joint, and sort of nods to Duval and says, "I trust you're well."
It's a figure of speech. I'm alive, I think. I'll
Very
take
well.
what I've got.
He sort of gestures to Dorfl, and he says, "That book you found, although technically it's inside my house, you can argue amongst yourselves as to who might want it, and, well, I know you're becoming quite a renowned seafaring sort, and you now have possession of my kakusareta, and I just feel that this compass might be better used in your hands." And the compass that Rain thought he had in his pocket is suddenly back in his hand, and he hands it over to Dorfl with as though there's a frivolity in his voice, like a joviality in his voice, and he says, Please look after it. It will never steer you. It'll keep you safe from harm." And he sort of nods to the book. He says, "Take the book as well, but I wouldn't dally here if I were you. Perhaps if we were to make haste to the coast, then I could get you back home."
It is a great honor to meet you, Lord Mask, but I must ask, are you able to help our friend Klaus? I fear the realm may have taken him somewhere else.
He sort of looks like he cocks his head and sort of inclines it left and right as though he's sort of trying. At first you think, is he trying to remember who Klaus was? And then he's like, I don't feel him. He says, if he is here, then Shar must have him, and Shar is hiding him from me, but I don't know why.
Son of a bitch, we got like most of one friend back, but we lost another one doing it.
This is absolutely unacceptable.
Now we're
Yeah.
gonna have to come back here to find the other one. God damn it! Like, you know when you only, like, you only want to make one run out to get something.
Mask kind of sort of shrugs as though, you know, your companion's life isn't all of that sort of worth, and he says, well, she's a lady of loss, after all, and this is her domain.
I thought it was your domain. Oh no, we're in your house.
Yeah, if you would know the lore behind it, and the lore is basically Mask has this weird kind of relationship with Shar, where Shar is his mum, but also not quite, and she's powerful than him, but he hates it and resents her and will do lots of things to fuck her up, just for shits and giggles, basically. So that's basically what he's been doing. He's just having a bit of fun trying to impede Shar. So, you know, he always has a long riding plan, like Mask. He's always thought everything out years down the line. And so what you do now might have echoing effects or ripple effects way in the future or way in the past, depending on what time you're actually projected to now.
Excellent. Well, before we duck out of here, can I do a quick inspection of the inside of the temple and see if there's anything worth salvaging?
So you're gonna steal from Mask.
Oh, he's right with us. I assumed it was a bit of a quid pro quo.
Yeah, by all means have a bit of a look around. What specifically are you looking for?
I want to say ransacking, but again, he's right there, so I'm investigating, I guess, what is in the place, or what might be useful for the party.
Okay, so basically there's two cartons there, two containers. One, you sort of, without offending him, you kind of prise it open, and he kind of chuckles. He's like, he says, more payment, I understand. So
look at him like, do you need this? Nope, cool, bang!
So the first chest is, or the first crate, there's nothing in it, and it just looks like once it held some, like religious relics back in the day, but is empty now. The other one you open up has two mummified hands sort of in there, both yeah, like hands, like up to probably just severed at the wrist, and
yeah, awesome. I don't have hands. I'm a warforged.
Well, so we'll use them if you want. Trade them in. And they're sort of resting on top of each other, but wrapped around them are these bandages or wraps, as it were. And he says, if you can work out what that's for, you can use it. And then he just vanishes. He says, I'll see you next time.
Oh, goodbye to you too.
Safe passage
So-
would have been good, but
Can I pick them up safely in the wrappings?
You can give that a go.
What am I rolling for that one then?
So you are moving in to pick them up?
Yeah, I was trying to disturb them as little as possible. So if he's like, yep, work out what to do with them, I'll take like as much of that whole... Fuck it, I'm gonna cast Levitate on the box and just take the box.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That's,
Like, we will deal with that later.
I would say that you get the impression that this would be a good time to skedaddle, and the it depends. If people do people have to go or what now?
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty
guess
much
so.
I'm done for.
Okay, because this was a one shot, and I thank you very much for your time and patience with the impromptu-ness of this. But with regards to making your way back, as you walk towards the beach, again, the whole place just shits you up. Luckily, nothing sort of disturbs you because as terrifying as the Shadowfell is, it's also immense. So unless you do anything really bad, like set a witch on fire, then things won't really notice you. And
Redefining Burning Man.
just leave her burning. You make your way to the coast, and a similar thing happens again. Only this time you don't make it onto the ship before you get that searing pain in your mind. And I'll just get everyone to make me a wisdom save, please.
This will be interesting.
Hey,
Ooh, could have been worse.
No.
Oh
Unfortunately, oh hang on, it was a D6 last time, so it should really be a D6 this time. Oh fuck. Both Rain and hey Klaus, did you technically want to roll for Duval, or are you happy to wear?
yeah, sorry, that was Duval. I just haven't changed the.
Oh yeah, Duval Espino, yeah. Yeah, so both of you. By the way, Duval, you would literally only be on about like 12 hit points. You're feeling pretty fucked up, and you could do with a good rest.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because as far as the Shadowfell goes, you've done incredibly well to even have that many hit points and be alive. Like most people will just die within the first day, so you've done very well to survive all this time. You should get a T-shirt that says "I survived a 10-day or 11 days in the Shadowfell," and and all I got was this lousy T-shirt. And yeah, unfortunately, well, fortunately for you, you awake to feel unrested. So it's now early in the morning, and whilst you can safely hear Finn and the Baron snoring soundly in their bunks, you feel very drained, as though the whole experience was very real, if not somewhat confusing. As you look around, within the center, like within the middle, it's loot time. Basically, Dorfl, you wake up and clutched in your hand is the compass that Mask handed to you. It's almost like hammers home that it was perhaps a real ordeal, and that this is some kind of sort of magical gift.
You're like, when you wake up, you're like, oh, that was a crazy dream. Like, why am I bleeding?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. Rain, sort of you come to, and you find that your head was resting or sleeping on the book that was found in the ruined temple, and Duval, you awake to find yourself next to the corpse of Klaus, or at least in a somewhat comatose state. He is you're unable to rouse him, and I think that's probably what throws you the most, is the fact that there's an extra person on board.
I was just saying, like, Klaus was a corpse to begin with, so like that's not a huge.
Oh yeah,
change.
true. Well, he's even grayer, and well now he just doesn't move.
Like,
now he's like
Klaus is
black and white.
deader than he was 2 hours ago.
More dead.
Yeah.
More dead.
Like, He was already so dead he was undead, and now he's just like better again. Just
That's true. I had forgotten that element at 11:30 or whatever it is. Yeah. And so basically, yeah, loot-wise, where do you want me to share it? Let's see. The book.
oh shit! I'd actually forgot about that.
Once, let's see. Also you have the crate with the mummified hands in it still. The book is easy for me to share because it's a real thing. So I will just share that in Discord while we're here.
Fantastic.
It's all here. Let's go to the loot. It is called the Fulminating Treatise. It's a wondrous item, it's rare, and it requires attunement by a wizard.
Well, our only wizard is fucking. Oh wait, no, you're a wizard.
Yes, I've been conjuring undead and shooting fireballs. Of course, I'm a wizard.
No, I got totally confused. I was just saying our only wizard just got dropped from a skyscraper into the forest, but no, we're still a wizard, so that's all good.
Got another wizard back. He's
Um,
low level, but stepping into the Arcana. Duval's still learning tricks.
Well,
Was this your way of writing Duval back in and incapacitating Klaus?
Pretty much, yes. Entirely 100%, yes.
I nearly fucked it up too. I didn't realize, otherwise I would have tried so hard to save you.
Oh, no. It would just got worse and worse for him, don't worry. I would have been like, you see tentacles coming from the trees that just rip him apart and tear him down into a shadow. But this way, he's kind like, I don't like ever really properly killing someone off if I can help it, but he's just vanished. Like, the Shadowfell is a nasty place and really uncomfortable, nasty shit happens. And for someone to disappear is probably more horrific than if they were to die. Like, you'd be like, if you're in the Shadowfell, you'd be like, at least I'm going to die. But if you're in the Shadowfell and you don't even die, you just vanish, then that's, like, a lot worse.
well, like, now we've got to rescue Klaus. For fuck's sake.
But I did give you a little bit of an Easter egg there with regards to this and that. And let's see, are you spending some time to examine the compass, like with detect magic and shit?
I mean, I want to examine that book, but
I want, yeah. Well, we can examine it together, but I want to attune to the book.
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
So,
Your
or-
East Cape, and that's got a lot of like fireball, gust of wind, magic missile, thunder wave, wall of force. Definitely down the evocation route. I think Duval's going to go down the wall magic
Nice.
space and do a lot of buff or nerf type things to either make himself a little bit more resilient or others out along the way as well.
Fantastic.
nice. So, were you spending some time to, like, obviously you'll be sleeping and well rested, and like when we start up the adventure next time, it'll be like a clean slate type thing. But I'm assuming that you spend a little while maybe casting detect magic or using your immense artificer sort of knowledge to kind of tinker and play with the compass. As you do so, what you discover is that it is you can ask it, so you can petition it to show you a specific thing like anywhere in the world. But what it also does is will sort of it has some kind of entrapment capabilities, and what it does is you can cast summon creature with it for the next for 3 times, and that creature that you summon is a Gloomstalker.
Do we have control of it, or it's just like
Yeah.
we use it and it summons a?
It performs 100% under your dominion because it's Mask's compass, and Mask has pretty much control and reign over a majority of or a minority of the Shadowfell. He is able to basically he's basically able to gift this to you. So basically, he's what's the word? Domesticized a gloom stalker that you can summon like 3 times. So each time you summon it, it will last for an hour.
What item is this?
That's the compass.
Wow.
But
Now we can go
those
faster.
don't recharge.
No, expendable. So you get 3 charges, and then
Okay. So we're never going to use any of those because I am one of those kind of people that you know, like when you find health potions in a game and like you save them just in case you need them later.
yeah.
Yeah, I finished with like 90 something health potions.
There's just gonna
Like I'm still holding on to the red corundum gem that Cam gave me in the second session of like the campaign he's running,
Back in the
and I've lost and
Darwin
regained a character since then.
Yeah, there will be, in this campaign, specifically this campaign, times when air superiority, perhaps at sea, will be very, very, very useful.
Fantastic, love it.
And that's where I'll leave that one. And the hand wraps are still somewhat of a mystery at this stage, I would say. Depending on how long you want to... You're going to need a couple of days to really work out what these mummified hand wraps are all about.
Yep, that seems fair. I'm just gonna levitate the entire box until we get somewhere safe where we can examine those. What's the deal with the tomb though?
The tomb.
that's
the book.
100% definitely well used in the hands of rain.
Yeah, that's the fulminating treatise. The link I shared.
Oh,
Hang on,
Yeah, I've got it.
I'll share it here.
I've got it on my I found it in the inventory. It's pretty cool.
thank you.
It's a good one. Some really gnarly stuff in Tasha's. It's really a good one.
And
That seems
yeah,
like-
so that's basically your reward for saving your friend. Obviously, Duval, you benefit in as much as you are now out of the Shadowfell.
Yeah, it's a good place to be out of.
So I hope you like that. It was like a little
It's
bit
good.
pieced together, but
It felt like a very epic one shot. That came off very nicely. I was creeped out thoroughly, which was perfect.
that's good. I can stop with these
That
sound
was
effects.
great. Yeah.
Oh my god! Stop the rain. Have you stopped the sound effects? Like, oh my
I have
god.
now.
Yeah.
Well, oh Jesus, yeah, I just stopped mine.
Wow. I
That's
tell you
pretty
that. Okay, this silence now. That is that silence when the Gloomstalker came into the affray. You know what I mean? Like, suddenly everything's just.
Yeah, look, that silence is pretty deafening now, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't
Totally.
realize just how pervasive the two of those have gotten.
Oh, peeps, I gotta go. I gotta go and get some shut eye and go take care of the little one. But thank you.
Ooh,
That was
yes.
that was an awesome session.
Yep. You're
Yeah,
most
that
welcome.
was. Thanks so much.
All right, no worries. I'll put that into the treasure thing, and I'll catch you next week.
Woohoo.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. We haven't leveled up to level 7 yet, have we?
Not yet, but
So
soon.
I pocketed this. Now I'm just thinking, like, I pocketed this book. Can't do anything with it, and we've only got one wizard.
Look, you get to summon the shadow beasts, and I will use the spellbook.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna get more use out of it than I will.
I mean, Rain kind of carried. Let's be honest. You deserve a little something, something.
I feel like